Hello, everyone. This is Shelley Gibbs on Recipe for Success. And I hope you're not listening, but if you are, please do spread the word. Today, I would like to welcome you, Leanne, a mindset coach for women who want to become the best version of themselves through their career, life, and self belief. Welcome, Leanne, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I'm great. I am joining from Glasgow in Scotland. So I hope you like the Scottish accent.
Love this, and I can understand everything.
Good.
I love it. Tell me about yourself. Can you share your background and what led you to coaching women on mindset?
Yeah, of course. So, Leanne McCafferty. My company's called Mind Your Mindset, and you can find me on Instagram. I come from Glasgow. I've got 2 children, 2 really young daughters, which is amazing, which is a really big why for me. My background is actually not on personal development or mindset initially. I have always been in corporate. I studied finance and economics and a wee bit of psychology.
Wow.
I spent a long time in the corporate world, and I still do a wee bit in the corporate world as well. But a few years ago, got really interested in personal development. And I guess I have always been one of those people that felt that there was a gap in my life, despite having really good success and tons to be grateful for. I felt that I was waiting all the time, whether it was for the weekend or the next holiday, or also a bit of a fake. Like, I was pretending to be good at these things, but it was just because it's not a natural fit. And that took me down the road of personal development, which then took me on to mindset, which really created such a huge transformation and has taken to this point where I now coach on it. I coach women specifically who are really similar to me, who are at some point in their life and they know, although things are going well for them, that they don't want to look back and not have made a change, who know that potentially there's a gap in their life or that they were made for more. And I absolutely love it. Mindset will change your life when you invest in it, when you work on it consistently, and it's my mission.
And for many of us who have heard about mindset, can you explain in different ways what does it mean for us as a mindset coach?
Yeah, of course. So mindset for me is how you see the world. Okay, the lens through which you see the world. And a saying that I've heard many times, and for me this is mindset, is, oh, you see the world in rose-tinted glasses. Okay, how you see it. And that, those glasses, if you imagine it, how you see it is your mindset. And it's fundamentally, do you see the world as good or bad? Is it full of opportunity or is it against you? Is it safe or is it dangerous? Are people out to get you or are they not? Okay, what you believe fundamentally about the world. But even more important here, because the most important relationship any of us have for all of our life is the one we actually have with ourselves. It impacts everything, but mindset is how you see yourself, what fundamentally you believe to be true about yourself. And that is, do you believe that you are good enough or you're not good enough? Like, are you thinking, I'm really smart, actually I'm pretending to be smart? I'm capable, I'm weak, I'm strong, I'm not. People are out to get me because I'm not good enough versus the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
It is so much more. Mindset is not just like positive thinking, like I'm going to get up and I'm going to have a wee bit of a positive chat to myself. It runs incredibly deep. It runs to your subconscious level. And what we're going to chat about today is really going to put some flavour on that, and hopefully we'll paint this picture that mindset is the thing that really does shape your world, your reality, your perspective, and has the power to change everything for you. So that's what mindset is to me. And you'll be able to tell just from this chat, like, how excited it makes me to actually chat about it.
And how did you start your journey on mindset?
So about that time, I would say, like, when I was having children, when I was kind of getting to the point that internal voices were getting louder and louder, and I actually came across a podcast on manifesting.
Yeah.
Which I know is absolutely everywhere just now, which is great, because actually there's a lot of positive personal development practices in manifesting, and sometimes it gets a bad rep, and it absolutely shouldn't get a bad rep, because people think it's woo and it's magic, and that you're simply printing off a picture of what you want, posting it in your wall, and then suddenly it appears in front of you and there's nothing else involved in it. And it's not that at all. And for me, I became obsessed almost with absolutely everything I could learn on manifesting. And what came really apparent to me really quickly was there's loads and loads of science actually behind it. It's the way that your brain works. Loads of studies, loads of research on why you should do these practices for manifesting, which was hugely motivating for me, because I'm not someone that, can just invest my time, effort into manifesting or practices or mindset work or self-development if I don't understand why. Why should I actually, for example, have a vision board or do gratitude?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was all this sort of research that then took me down the path of personal development and mindset work, which made me realise how powerful it was and how we can shape our reality from that.
You mentioned manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a link between manifesting and mindset?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I mentioned a podcast, and one of the first ladies who I absolutely love, and I know a lot of the listeners will probably have heard of her name because she's huge right now, is somebody called Roxy Nafousi. And I actually reread her book fairly recently. It was one of the first books that I had read. Reread it. And actually everything that I coach on for mindsetting and all the studies that I have done is covered in her book under manifesting. There's nothing that I wouldn't coach on that wouldn't filter some way through that, because it really is a personal development practice. What I would say the difference is that mindset work is more active than simply manifesting. Like, you do actually have to do a lot of inner work for mindset work. You also need to take action, because when you take action, you change your mindset, you change your beliefs. So it's a much more active and in-depth process. But they definitely go hand in hand. I am a mindset coach, but I also am hugely interested in manifesting. And I've had amazing, magical moments when I've had something on my vision board and then all of a sudden some opportunities come up, which is amazing.
So again, I will go add one question on this.
Yeah.
So do you think to manifest, we need to visualize, or can we just manifest, again, I guess, mindset just with our mind?
Both, I would say, to be honest, is true there. So as part of mindset, I would actually include visualization. And the reason is your subconscious mind can actually differentiate between an imagined event, especially if you're emotionally involved in that. Okay, if you're visualizing yourself healthy or in a new job or in a new house or traveling somewhere, and you're actually feeling those emotions of gratitude and excitement, your brain cannot distinguish your subconscious mind if that event is actually happening or it's not happening. And why are you interested in that? The reason that that's really important is because what that's doing to your brain is suggesting that that's possible for you. It's training your belief system that that's possible, that's possible. And it then primes your brain to go out and look for opportunities to actually make that happen. and it primes your brain to believe that it's also possible for you as well. And subconscious beliefs, and we can have another podcast all on subconscious beliefs because it's a huge topic in itself, are absolutely massive to how you live your life. I'll give you one quick stat, but it is an area that we could do something different. Up to 98%, so between 95 and 98% of what you do today, yesterday, last year, how you live your life is a reflection of your subconscious beliefs that are programmed in before the age of around 8.
Mm-hmm.
And when you visualize as part of manifesting or mindset work, you start to change those subconscious beliefs, which then changes the 95 to 98% of what you do.
I mean, that is actually powerful. I mean, I mean, that is very, and we definitely need to do another podcast on this because I am super interested. I think it's amazing. However, we're here today to talk more about a mindset called the reticular activating system. Can you explain what it is and what it links to the mindset?
Yeah. So reticular activating system, or I might call it the RAS as we go through this, just so it's a bit easier. Absolutely fundamental to mindset. And it is like a superpower that when you know what it is and what its purpose is, that you can unlock that to really change all areas of your life. Okay. So reticular activating system is a wee bit of just the tech behind it. It's a bundle of nerves on your brainstem at the back, and it has various jobs. Okay, so fight or flight come out of the RAS. Some of the sleep issues come out of the RAS. But what we're interested in today to talk about is the brain functionality in terms of filtering. Okay, it is your brain filter. Just to strip this back and explain why we need that. So our brains are hugely, hugely complex, okay? And there is millions of bits of information just swirling about us at any point in given time, okay? That our senses we could see it, we could touch it, we could hear it, we could taste it, okay? And our brains can't actually consciously process all of that so that we would notice everything going on. It's just not possible. What we actually notice is a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of what's going on. And that is the job of the reticular activating system. Okay, it's the filter. It organises everything that's going on around us and just brings a tiny part to our conscious awareness. Okay. And the easiest way for me to explain this is probably going to just give you a couple of examples that's going to bring it to light. So first one is, and everybody should know this one, is when you decide that you really want a new car, okay? Black Mercedes, whatever it is, cream seats, you decide that's the one I want, I'm going to get it. For the next week or two, what do you see absolutely everywhere? You see that car, and you might even see that car with a registration that you think, oh, that registration looks like my name, right? Whatever it is, you will see that car everywhere. And this is your reticular activating system at work. And this is your reticular activating system. And when I say it's your superpower, and I know a lot of people will be like, all right, come on, superpower. But what I mean by that is you can shape what you actually see, because the vast majority of what you see in life, what's actually going on around you, you do not see. You see a tiny portion of this. And you can actually use the reticular activating system to make sure that you're actually consciously aware what you are seeing is what you want to see. And that is the power of the reticular activating system. It's actually a reason why manifesting is demystified by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it's something that you can really, the women in your circle can really start to use to improve whatever area in their life that they want to improve.
That is, again, very powerful and very deep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if that changes how we feel day to day, as you said, what about menopause symptoms for people like myself who are experiencing symptoms related to menopause?
Yeah. So first of all, what I'm not advocating here is those symptoms are real and they're potent, and they can be difficult at times. And as a mindset coach, I am not advocating that people are robots and completely ignore the fact that they have these symptoms. What I am advocating is this can absolutely help with them. And I know that it can because I've coached women through this before who have seen amazing results where yes, that they do have these symptoms, but rather than solely focusing on the symptoms that they're experiencing of menopause, and if they do that, if you are waking up and you're thinking, I'm really anxious, I'm going to be really anxious, or I'm really tired, or I've got pain, and you're consistently only focused on those symptoms and nothing else, you get into this situation where your reticular activating system is going to show you, it thinks it's doing you a favour. Right? Basically, it's there to say, right, she's thinking about being stressed. She's thinking about being anxious, being tired. Okay, I'm going to prime myself today to bring her all the evidence into her conscious awareness that says, you definitely are stressed, you definitely can't cope, you definitely are tired. That's what happens. And it becomes then about, okay, we're not going to completely ignore those symptoms, but we're going to actively try to start to focus on other things as well. For example, what can I do to feel less tired? What are some of those tools, whether it is like a 10-minute meditation, which is proven to have huge, huge benefits for somebody that's sleep deprived, or going outside for 5 minutes, or perhaps recognising, yes, I am tired, but I've got something that I can do that's going to help with that. Bringing in those other thoughts, and when you start to do that, what you do is you balance your reticular activating system to start to bring in, okay, if you're simply saying, how can I feel more focused? How can I help with this situation I've got? What's the evidence that says I'm getting better than I was 1 month ago or 2 months ago? What you're doing when you start to purposely have those thoughts, you're priming your reticular activating system to bring into your conscious awareness things that you would never have noticed before, small tweaks about yourself, and that builds over time. And this is definitely something I've seen.
Okay. Have you seen results? Have Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
so I
coached
mentioned there,
someone with menopause who
yeah,
was able to?
I've coached multiple
Oh,
women
wow.
with menopause. Most women actually who have come to me have either come after corporate burnout as a result of menopause, or maybe are coming to me in their 40s, not from burnout, but just from the point where they really want to change their life. But when we're talking specifically about women who've got menopause and have got health symptoms related to that, I've seen totally transformational changes from complete burnout, really, really physical things that were stopping them essentially from living their life, and a feeling of lacking clarity. And actually one of my clients talked about being in a black hole at the time, who women who are now thriving, who physically look amazing compared to maybe when they first came to me, who feel amazing, and they still do have symptoms. Okay, what I'm not saying here is they went from 0 to 100 and they don't experience any symptoms whatsoever. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying is they have completely transformed, not just physically, how they feel or even their appearance, but it's ran a lot deeper than that, where they've perhaps, some of them have actually changed what they're doing. They're now living with more purpose. They feel like they've found what they were here to do and are now starting to make goals to do that. And the reason for that is because menopause has not become the dominant thing in their life anymore. It has become smaller and smaller and smaller, more manageable, and they've opened their eyes up to this point that I don't just have to focus on this. So they've maybe came to me for that specific reason and a general feeling of lack of purpose. And that's a small bit now. And the big bit is, what do I actually want to do now to make sure for the next 10 years, 20 years, whatever, that I'm going to look back and say, like, thank God I done that. Like, I'm glad I made that change at the time.
Any tips for our community, for the feminine community, how to start unlocking the power of RAS straight away? Believe me, hot flashes happening all the time.
Yeah. Oh, definitely some tips, okay? And I'll keep this quite brief, but keep it simple. Right. It's the first thing I always say to my clients, right? I am not an advocate for telling you to go off and spend 1 hour of the day, 2 hours of the day, because most people don't have it or don't want to give it. And if they want to give it, great. But if they don't want to give it and they don't have the time, don't give it time. Keep things simple, because what we want here is consistent small changes. And you do that by doing things small and easy. 20 minutes of your day, 30 minutes of your day. That's the first thing. A couple of things that you can start to do is really basic things like positive affirmations or mantras, if you want to call them. And if you go on my Instagram, which is Mind Your Mindset, you'll see that I put positive affirmations up on a weekly basis that you can save and repeat. Positive affirmations are a really good one. Next one is gratitude as well. It's hugely powerful personal development practice, and I don't know if you can make this out here, but I've got a bracelet here that says grateful, okay, because I practice gratitude all the time. Why? If you're grateful, if you wake up and say, what are the 3 things I'm grateful for? Guess what your RAS is going to show you? It's going to be pointed and primed for you to notice more to be grateful for. Okay, and the more you feel grateful for, the better you feel. And then you actually go in over time, you would go into a situation that might have stressed you out earlier. Okay, today, situation that you think, oh my gosh, like horrible situation, The more you prime your brain for gratitude, what it's going to do to you is pick up the thing to be grateful for in that situation.
Amazing.
That's the way that your brain is going to work. And that then makes you feel better and take different action. Again, this is not do it for a week and you'll change your life. This is live through gratitude. So do it simply. Start really easy by doing your gratitude list. Other thing as well, really simple thing you could do is like start a journal. And what you could do at the end of the day is you could just reflect and say, what went well for me today? Or how did I feel good in myself? Right? You might feel bad because you've got a physical pain somewhere, but actually all the rest of your body's working and it's working well. The fact that you can actually get up out your bed and walk, are you showing gratitude for that? The more you do that, again, you're priming your reticular activating system to notice more things about yourself that have went well. And that improves your confidence and how you feel versus the alternative. If you're consistently thinking, I'm failing here, I'm not doing good, I feel like rubbish, I feel too tired, this is sore and this is sore, and those are real, and I'm not saying they're not real, they are. But what you're doing, if that is predominantly your biggest focus, is you're priming your RAS to show you more and more and more and more of that, and to completely exclude the good stuff that you want to see. And this is about habits, essentially, like doing a journal, like doing gratitude, like doing mantras that can start to prime your reticular activating system to actually show you something different on a day-to-day basis.
Let's wrap this up. As much as I would love to speak to you all day long, and I could, what's your final advice to the feminine community to start unlocking the power of RAS and mindset?
Final advice is decide. Basically decide on the back of this. Listen to this and decide that tomorrow, next month, next year gets to be better for you. That is also your superpower, is to make the empowered decision. And all of my clients that come to me are empowered, right? They might be suffering, but they are empowered to say, this stops now. I am doing something different to make sure that I'm going to go on that journey to make things better for me. Okay, so decide that you're going to take the value from this podcast, you're going to implement something different, you're going to work in your reticular activating system, and that actually you're making that choice from today. That's the final tip that I would give you. Also, if you are wanting any small tips, any advice, reach out to me on Instagram, mention the podcast, and I'll be happy to share some tips.
And your Instagram is Mind Your Mindset. Please make sure, ladies,
Mind Your Mindset.
follow Leanne. She has offered to answer all your questions. Leanne, it's been an honor, a pleasure. I can't wait to speak to you again. Ladies, my queens, thanks for tuning in on this week's episode. Today, we covered how to become a better version of ourselves with our mindset and RAS. And be sure to join us again as new episodes will be released every week. Don't forget to follow Feminine Wellness on Instagram. Don't forget to follow the mindset, Mind Your Mindset, my apologies. And stay tuned and spread the word and see you next week.